It is Charlotte Flair, the 13-time WWE Women's Champion, who joins Chris Carlin, Bart Scott on ESPN Radio and ESPN Plus right now. Charlotte, man, we appreciate the time. This is an honor. How you doing?
Hey, guys. My pleasure.
I'll tell you what, SummerSlam's coming up, and when you think about the wrestling calendar, where does SummerSlam rank as far as the excitement level amongst the participants of SummerSlam?
Right now, it kind of feels like WrestleMania, to be honest. We're expecting 55,000 people, and SummerSlam has always been one of the big four pay-per-views. But right now, it feels just as big as WrestleMania. So, yeah. I mean, especially for me, I wasn't able to be a part of WrestleMania this year due to COVID. And going in to want to show the fans on the grandest stage, it should be amazing.
Charlotte Flair has got a triple threat match at SummerSlam, Allegiant Stadium in Vegas this Sunday. She's going up against Nikki, A.S.H, and Rhea Ripley. I mean, there's so much we could get into, and you just hear it in there. What the sport means to your family. Can you, even at this juncture in your career, as such, as much of an impact as your father made, but so much of the impact as you have made as well, is there any way for you to even put that into context yet at this point in your career?
No, it's really hard. The business changed my life, This wasn't something that I dreamed about as a kid. It wasn't something that I ever thought I would get into. I played sports in middle school, high school. I went to Appalachian State for volleyball, transferred to NC State, and then I was just personal training. But the business was actually something that my two brothers wanted to get into. So when I told my dad in 2012 that I wanted to, do this, literally at the Hall of Fame for the Four Horsemen, my dad was a little hesitant, but I think he thought if I did it, it would get my little brother more motivated on the right path, because this was my little brother's dream. And I thought, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not doing much of my life right now. If I do this, maybe it will help my brother and we can do it together. And here I am, 2021, and the most decorated female in the history of the company. And I just don't know how I got here. It's mind blowing. Like, you know how people always say to try to enjoy the ride? It's still like surreal for me to think that I've done all these things and I mean this much to the industry. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to see yourself outside of what's happening, Yeah,
and it's crazy, right? Because as a former professional athlete, sometimes it's hard to connect the dots looking forward. You can connect them, going back. So everything that you've done that led you to this path. But I consider myself like a distant cousin. Your dad slapped me on the chest a little bit, hyped me up. I had a cameo on TNA one time. Got tapped out by Kurt Angle, but that's a different story for a different time. But I grew up loving wrestling as an '80s baby. I believe at the heights as it became a global sport. And, I remember the times where, you had the lady women of Globe, Big Bad Mama and all that stuff. And, they kind of had to have their own space. But the fact that, you look at SummerSlam, you guys don't have, and when I say you guys, I'm talking about women's wrestling. You don't just have one
totally.
You just don't have one match. You guys have 3 matches on one of the biggest cards of the year. Have you been able to soak that in, and the fact that you've been handed the baton to kind of take it further? When we just say wrestling, we're not saying, women's matches and things of that sort. How do you feel, and how are you embracing the responsibility?
Well, since 2015, we've, as a company as a whole, I've talked about this women's evolution. And really the women have done it all since then. So to me, it's not necessarily celebrating the fact that the women have 3 matches on the show. It's that we have continued the success. We have continued to take the ball and run with it. And now we've pretty much normalized it. Like, no one's going, oh my gosh, there's 3 female matches on the SummerSlam card. Oh my gosh, the females are in the main event of Raw. The females are in the main event of SmackDown. Like, that's how far we've come, that no one, I think, who really pays close attention is surprised by the spot. because we have been giving them time after time and over-delivered. So I think the bigger thing is it's normal. Like, if there was just one match, people would be like, oh, no, something's not right. Like, that's not normal. Now it's normal to have multiple female matches, multiple female storylines with different feels to each one of them.
13-time WWE Women's Champion Charlotte Flair.
No, when you say that, Charlotte, do you say it like your dad? Because I remember Dad, 5 times, 6 times. Like when you say the resume, did you go with not 11, 13? Because I don't know if I have enough breath in my lungs to kind of count to 13 when I'm jacked up on Mountain Dew.
When in the moment, I just kind of feel it. Whether it's now my new line is the most decorated woman, so I don't say the title, like many titles, but I don't know, I just feel the moment, what the audience is reacting to. Anything to be over the top. I'm a Flair.
Well, I mean, the truth matters as little as it ever has, Charlotte. So you can say 28-time. They wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's the passion that it's the feeling and the emotion behind the words and how you say it.
Charlotte, when you get the chance to do this, but and I know you get asked this all the time, but you talk about being the most decorated women's wrestler, and you're the daughter of the most decorated wrestler, period. How much does that responsibility that comes with that kind of weigh on you? Or has it always been an easier transition for you to just go and forge your own path?
Oh, no, it weighs on me to this day. Definitely have a chip on my shoulder. It's definitely, I think, a double-edged sword. Being the daughter of Ric Flair, I would never change it. My dad's, my best friend, my biggest supporter, between my dad and my fiance, Manny, they just, what my dad means, and knowing that so many people assume that I've gotten where I am because of him and nepotism, and it's just, I try that much harder, and even to this day, with everything that I've done, I'm like, it's still not enough. I've got to do more. I've got to get better. But that's what makes me tick. And I think it's hard to really grasp the fact that there's a father-daughter duo that has done what we've done and meant what we have meant to the industry. I mean, I don't even grasp it. I'm talking about it. Like, I know what my dad means, but I'm very grateful and I'm very lucky.
Now, when you talk about a triple threat match, like, what's the strategy that goes into that? Because you guys are all individual competitors, but, if two kind of come together and decide to link up to kind of get rid of one and may the best woman win afterwards, what's the strategy that goes in, assuming that they're not listening?
Well, I don't know if anyone watched Raw last night, but Nikki and Rhea teamed up and ganged up on me.
Yeah.
I felt like, this is not fair. I have, luckily, a lot of experience in triple threat matches. The hardest thing about triple threat match is you don't have to be pinned or submitted in order to lose. So going in with a lot of experience, both on big stages, both in triple threat matches. I'm undefeated at SummerSlam, so I'm going to do anything and everything to walk out of there as the new Raw Women's Champion.
Last one, Charlotte. Bart mentioned it earlier. He tapped out against
I had a season.
No.
I had a season to prepare for. I couldn't go in there.
Sit tight for a second.
Okay.
He tapped out. As opposed to getting pinned,
yeah.
Let be honest. You do lose a little bit more respect for somebody when they tap out as opposed to getting pinned, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, I would have fainted. I wouldn't have tapped out. I'm just kidding.
Boom.
I'm not as tough as you.
No.
It's in your DNA, Charlotte. It's in your DNA.
No.
This is a guy who played in the NFL for a long time, Charlotte. I'm just saying.
If you're gonna tap out to someone, it's gonna be Kurt Angle. It's an honor to tap out to Kurt Angle. Look at it that way.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.